Here are some parallel prophecies to consider. Remember the story of Father Abraham? God the Father requested that he sacrifice his only son in the place where he would choose. Father Abraham, confused and brokenhearted, obeys the call and at once starts out on his journey to sacrifice Isaac, the child of promise. Genesis 22 and verse 2. While still in the temple, before leaving for Bethany to attend the supper they are preparing for him, Jesus is sought for by some Greeks for an audience. And Jesus says that the hour is come that the Son of Man shall be glorified, that unless he dies, he cannot bring forth any fruit. Then Jesus says, Father, glorify thy name. And get this, the Father responds and everyone hears. God the Father personally accepts to sacrifice his only son, as did Father Abraham. John 12:20-28. And it reads as thus, And there were certain Greeks among them that came up to worship at the feast. The same came therefore to Philip, which was of Bethsaida of Galilee, and desired him, saying, Sir, we will see Jesus. Philip cometh and telleth Andrew, and Andrew and Philip tell Jesus. And Jesus answered them, saying, The hour is come that the Son of Man shall be glorified. Verily, verily, I say unto you, except a corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abideth alone. But if it die, it bringeth forth much fruit. He that loveth his life shall lose it, and he that hateth his life in this world shall keep it unto life eternal. If any man serve me, let him follow me, and where I am, there shall also my servant be. If any man serve me, him will my Father honor. Now is my soul troubled, and what shall I say? Father, save me from this hour. But for this cause came I unto this hour. Father, glorify thy name. Then came a voice from heaven saying, I have both glorified it, and will glorify it again. Thank you, Lord, for being so clear in your word. This is how it works. Less than 24 hours is not a day. A day has no less than 24 hours. We can say that from 0 to less than 24 hours, day 1 has started, but it has not ended. Hence, we do not have a day. Once we hit the 24-hour mark, we finally have the first day that has passed. The moment we have 24 hours, we have the first day. Once we have the first day, the clock resets to 0, and the same process starts all over again. This will be day 2, as long as day 3 has not started. Once day 3 has started, we have the second day. This will be day 3, from 0 to more than 48 hours, but less than 72 hours. After 72 hours, we finally have the third day, and here begins day 4. This is the way ordinal number works. The first is not part of the first, it is all of it. There is no need to be confused on such a trivial matter. On the third day, Jesus is crucified on the cross, and there he dies. After 3 days equals the third day. Father Abraham arrives at the place assigned him of God on the third day to sacrifice his only son, but God stops him just when he was about to take his son's life. God's son would not have this luxury. He will have to go the last mile. He will have to give it all, the ultimate sacrifice. God told Abraham that now he knew that he loved him, and because of that, he will do the exact same thing. Father Abraham called this place Jehovah Jireh. What is not commonly known is that it was located on Mount Moriah, the same place where Calvary is located. Do you think this is a coincidence? I don't. What God said he was going to do was done exactly the way he said he would do it. What a God we serve. He died on the third day, as it was foretold in the sacrificial law, as it was described in the example of Abraham, and as it was confirmed by the disciples in the Gospels. Jesus said he would be in the heart of the earth 3 days and 3 nights, as the prophet Jonah was in the belly of the great fish. 3 days and 3 nights is a specific amount of time. There is no honest way to get around this. This can be no less than 72 hours, no matter how we try to slice and dice it. His example was Jonah 3 days and nights in the belly of the fish. One thing to clear up is that Jonah was not in the belly of the great fish before he was actually in the belly of the great fish. In the same way, Jesus was not in the heart of the earth before he was actually placed there in the heart of the earth. There are some who believe that Jesus was in the heart of the earth when he was actually in Gethsemane. Where they get this conclusion from is hard to fathom. Jesus was placed in the tomb after sunset, as we saw in the first video. Starting from here, we have 1 night and 1 day in the tomb. The following day, we have 2 nights and 2 days in the tomb. This day is called the first day. It is not referring to the day you are in. It is referring to the day that has been accomplished in the tomb. In other words, 24-hour time periods. To be able to refer to the previous day, we must have more than 24 hours, but less than 48 hours. The following day, we have 3 days and nights in the tomb. Once again, we have 2 days finished. This is the second day. It is more than 48 hours, but less than 72 hours. Ordinal numbers works with integers, not fractions. First is the ordinal number for 1. Second is the ordinal number for 2, and so on. What is the ordinal number for 3.5? It is the third. As you can see, we do know how to correctly use ordinal numbers, and we use it in exactly the same way the Bible does. Finally, after 3 days and night in the tomb, we have the third day. How clear is that? Jesus was to rise after 3 days. Matthew 8:21, 27, 63, and 64. As we saw before, Jesus never used the term after 3 days. It was his disciple and his murderers that said that. Why is that? It is because the third day, in 3 days, and after 3 days are synonyms. We see this all through the Bible. Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights, according to Jonah 1:17. It was not until he came out that he went to Nineveh. It was after 3 days that he started to preach. Because Jesus gave us a specific time frame, nights and days, he is also counting, guess what? Night and days accomplished in the tomb. He must leave the tomb before the sun comes up, because if it does, then we will have to count 4 nights in the tomb. Jesus could have risen any time after sunset that Sabbath, but before it rose on Sunday. In other words, he had roughly 12 hours to leave the tomb. There was no hurry. This is the reason the Bible is so careful to mention that the woman came to the tomb while it was yet dark, and he was nowhere to be found. Last but not least, although Jesus rose on the third day, that is not the day he received life from his Father, according to the Bible. It was after 2 days that he was revived, the second day. After 3 days he rose, the third day. After 2 days will he revive us. In the third day he will rise us up, and we shall live in his sight. Hosea 6 and verse 2. Why is this? It is simple. The body starts to decompose after 2 days. The psalmist prophesied, "Thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither wilt thou suffer thine Holy One to see corruption." Psalm 16 verse 10. Jesus never said he will be dead 3 days and nights. What he said was that he will be in the heart of the earth for that amount of time, and he did exactly what he said. The angel that came down from heaven did not give him life. He did not have the power to give life to the one that gave him life. Only God the Father and the woman could give him life. The woman gave him life at his natural birth, and God the Father gave him life again after his death. All is perfectly and logically understood. God gave us the Bible for us to understand, not to confuse us. If these studies have piqued your interest, then please hit the like and subscribe button to be notified when new videos are posted on this channel. If you would like to know more about what the woman represents here on earth, then please consider the book, Woman, The Profound Beauty of Truth. If you would like to receive a high-definition copy of this graph, please sign up for my mailing list at www.intherimage.com for a free copy. As always, thank you for listening, and God bless.